And we are back with the fourth segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fourth segment, we're going to be doing a nice recap of all of the games that went down yesterday, what the results of each of these games were, whether or not I was right, whether or not I was wrong. And as I alluded to before, I always need to get at least 2 picks wrong in order in these games and in my predictions. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just the law. Like, I guess it's illegal for me to get every game right because I ended up getting 2 wrong here again. I mentioned that I got the Bucks and the Grizzlies game wrong, so I might as well go ahead and talk about that. The Grizzlies ended up outscoring the Bucks 122-99. I was very, very reluctant to pick the Bucks, but I went ahead and I picked them anyway. Ja Morant ended with a 26-point triple-double, 10 rebounds, 14 assists, 26 points. And that was really, he was obviously the best player for the team for them. And aside from that, the rest of the starters ended up scoring in double figures, along with 2 players coming off of the bench. Santi Aldama, he's been a very, very good player for the Grizzlies, I do gotta say. He's been very solid. He went 7 for 14 from the field and ended with 19 points. Scottie Pippen Jr., 16 points, 5 for 8 from the field. Let me just see. Jalen Wells, 5 for 9 from the field, 16 points. Jaren Jackson Jr., 5 for 12 from the field, 13 points. Who else? Jake Laravia, 11 points, 3 for 6. Zach Edey, 5 for 9, 10 points. Very, very solid outing. Very nice performance coming in from everybody else on the Grizzlies squad. And really, and it's not like they even shot very well from 3. 8 for 28 they shot from 3. 28%. But they did shoot very good from the field, 52% from the field, compared to the Milwaukee Bucks, shooting 42% from the field and 21% from 3 on 9 for 42 3-point shooting. Now, they took a lot more shots. They took a lot more 3-pointers than the Grizzlies. They just were not falling tonight. Especially for Gary Trent Jr., who is supposed to be a very solid 3-point shooter. 4 for 12 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3, 9 points. Really, the only highlight of this game for the Milwaukee Bucks was, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I expected a big game from Giannis, but he ended the game with 37 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. And that was really it for the Milwaukee Bucks in terms of scoring. Brook Lopez, he ended the game with 12 points, 4 for 8 from the field. Bobby Portis ended with 5 for 14 from the field with 11 points and 1 of 5 from 3. But again, that is a rather lackluster performance coming in from the rest of these Bucks players. Damian Lillard laid an egg in this one. He was 1 for 12 from the field, 4 points, 0 for 6 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Just a very, very bad performance coming in from Dame. He was not hitting the shots that they needed him to hit. 6 assists along with 2 rebounds to go with that. And that was just a very, very pitiful performance coming in from the Bucks. This was just not, I don't know what's up with the Bucks. I really don't. Actually, no, I do. Doc Rivers is their coach. It's just this is a very bad start for them. And it's no wonder that Giannis might want to get traded. And, might get traded. It's really no wonder that there's a possibility that he wants to force his way out. Possibility, we still don't know yet. But, Memphis, they opened up this game with a 40-point first quarter, and the Bucks really couldn't do anything else to respond after that. And then the Grizzlies followed it up with a 30-point second quarter, and then a 29-point third quarter. Meanwhile, the Bucks were only able to score at most 24 points in the first 3 quarters, at most. Again, not ideal. Not a very ideal situation. A big reason why they ended up scoring all those points was because of Antetokounmpo. And this is just really, really bad. This is a bad situation that the Bucks find themselves in. If Doc Rivers does not get fired anytime soon, I don't expect much change to happen. And they might get rid of Giannis, which will be a very, very bad thing. That's a very bad thing. That's something that should not even be in the possibilities, but it's going to happen. It could happen. The next game that I ended up getting wrong was the Dallas Mavericks beating the Houston Rockets. Houston ended up prevailing in this matchup 108 to 102. Dillon Brooks, he ended the game with 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Jalen Green ended with 23 points, 12 rebounds, and Sengun ended with 17 points and also got 12 rebounds. So 2 players for Houston ended with a double-double in this matchup. And Tari Eason ended the game with 15 points off the bench, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot 6 for 10 from the field, which is rather efficient. Jalen Green shot 9 for 21, but again, 23 points is 23 points. And Dillon Brooks shot 6 for 15, but recorded 17 points along with that. Jabari Smith shot 5 for 10 from the field, Jabari Smith Jr., and ended with 14 points, 1 of 5 from 3. But Fred VanVleet was not really all that good in this matchup. 2 for 13 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3 with 4 points. But that was enough to deal with the Dallas Mavericks, who had a very, very good performance, very solid performance actually, coming in from both Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. They both ended the game with 28 points or more. Luka Doncic ended with 29. Kyrie Irving ended with 28. Kyrie shot 10 for 20, 5 for 6 from 3. Luka shot 12 for 25, 29 points, 3 for 7 from 3. And Klay Thompson, he did not shoot the ball all that well in this matchup. 5 for 13 with 12 points and ended 2 of 9 from 3. If Klay Thompson would have ended up going shooting at least 4 for 9 from 3, the game would have been a lot closer, and in fact the game would have probably been sent into overtime. So this loss was, I don't want to really blame Klay Thompson for it, considering how Spencer Dinwiddie went 0 for 5. But again, this Klay Thompson performance is really not ideal when he is supposed to be a pretty solid shooter for the team, and that's the whole reason why they ended up signing him was to trying to get some solid 3-point shooting out of him. And so far it's been a little bit mediocre compared to Buddy Hield, who's been phenomenal at shooting the 3. So, a little bit, not really good news for Klay Thompson in that department and his case, but again, season is still young. And the Mavs, they usually, if we want to take last season into account, they usually start playing well after the All-Star break. But, season's still early, season's still young. They shot 10 for 30 from 3 as a team compared to Houston's 8 for 34 as a team shooting from 3. So the game was incredibly winnable. It really was if they would have just hit a couple more 3-pointers than them. But that was all she wrote in this matchup. Now, I already talked about the Spurs beating the Jazz. Now, the Suns, they ended up beating the Clippers as I expected. Despite the fact that the Suns did not have Bradley Beal in this matchup, they did have Devin Booker, who ended the game with 40 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists, along with 3 steals to go with that. This was a great game from Devin Booker. 11 for 18 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. Kevin Durant was also pretty efficient. He did end with 18 points, but 7 for 13 from the field is very, very solid, along with 2 for 4 from 3. Royce O'Neal ended the game 7 of 8, 5 for 6 from 3, along with 21 points. Now, Ryan Dunn, 6 for 12, 4 of 9 from 3, along with 16 points. Nurkic ended the game with 11 points, 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. And Grayson Allen, he's not really been all that good so far for the Suns. He's only averaging 4 points, and in this matchup, he shot 1 of 8 from the field and 0 for 5 from 3 with only 2 points. So they could have probably won by a little bit more against the Clippers had he shot the ball a little bit more efficiently. Now, on the Clippers side, they had a much more spread, I guess you could say, in terms of scorers, than the Phoenix Suns did, at least in the starting lineup. James Harden, he ended the game with a triple-double, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks along with that. Ivica Zubac, 22 points, 12 rebounds, so a double-double. Norman Powell, 23 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and Derek Jones Jr. ended with 11 points. And Ivica Zubac was shot 90% from the field with the 22 points. Norman Powell ended up going 9 for 21 from the field, which isn't really all that good. And Harden ended up going 3 for 10 from the three-point line, which is not really that good either. Now, as a team, however, they did not shoot better than the Suns in this matchup. I mean, the Suns shot 18 for 39 from 3, which is 46%, compared to the Clippers shooting 12 for 35 from 3, which is only 34%. And I say only because, I mean, the disparity in efficiency between these two teams was staggering. Especially, and I didn't even bring up the field goal percentage. The Suns shot 51% from the field compared to the Clippers going 48% from the field. So it was a relatively close game. Really, the Clippers just needed to make a couple more three-pointers, as usually the case with a lot of these losses and a lot of the reasons why these teams end up losing. So that's all that I have to say about this matchup for tonight. For last night, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and go into the predictions once again in the fifth segment, and we're going to talk about the games that are happening later on today, and I'll give my thoughts on which team is going to end up winning and which team is going to end up losing. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.